Religion conquered the world only after Rome conquered religion. Rome is the stage of the New Testament. Christianity did not emerge in isolation, and it did not grow in a vacuum of faith. It was born inside the Roman Empire, the most advanced political system the ancient world had ever produced. Rome unified territories stretching from Britain to Judea, from North Africa to Asia Minor, creating a single imperial space governed by law, roads, armies, and administration. This unification was not spiritual, it was logistical and violent. Yet without it, Christianity could not have spread. The New Testament is not only a religious text, it is a product of imperial geography. Rome did not intend to create a world religion, but it built the infrastructure that made one possible. Judea under occupation. At the heart of the New Testament lies Judea, a small, restless province under Roman rule. Rome tolerated local religions, but it demanded political loyalty and taxation. For the Jewish population, this created unbearable tension. Their identity was built on covenant, law, and divine kingship, yet they lived under pagan imperial authority. Messianic expectations intensified. Many hoped for a political liberator, not a spiritual teacher. Jesus emerged inside this pressure cooker of occupation, resistance, and religious anxiety. His message was inseparable from Roman domination. Without empire, there is no crucifixion. Crucifixion was not a Jewish punishment, it was Rome's language of control. Power, law, and the Roman mind. Rome ruled not only through force, but through law. Roman authority was rational, bureaucratic, and systematic. Citizenship, courts, taxation, and military discipline shaped daily life. This legal mindset deeply influenced early Christianity. Concepts of judgment, testimony, guilt, innocence, and authority in the New Testament reflect Roman legal culture. Even the trial of Jesus follows Roman judicial logic. Christianity did not oppose law, it reinterpreted it. Sin became universal, judgment cosmic, and salvation a legal acquittal before a higher authority. Roman order provided Christianity with a language that transcended tribe and ethnicity. Greek thought inside Roman power. Although Rome ruled politically, Greek culture ruled intellectually. The Eastern Empire spoke Greek, not Latin. The New Testament itself was written in Koine Greek, not Hebrew or Aramaic. This choice was revolutionary. Greek philosophy had already developed concepts of logos, soul, ethics, and metaphysics. Early Christian writers used this intellectual framework to explain faith to a wider world. Jesus became the logos. Salvation became universal. Faith became something that could be argued, not just inherited. Greek thought gave Christianity abstraction, Rome gave it structure. Paul and the imperial network. No figure represents the fusion of Christianity and empire more clearly than Paul. He was Jewish, educated in Greek culture, and a Roman citizen. He traveled Roman roads, appealed to Roman courts, and wrote letters that circulated like administrative documents. Paul understood that Christianity could not remain a local sect. It had to become portable, adaptable, and universal. His theology removed ethnic boundaries and reframed faith as allegiance to a cosmic lord rather than a national god. Paul did not fight the empire with weapons, he repurposed its systems. Persecution and visibility. Rome did not initially see Christianity as a threat. It viewed it as a Jewish sect. Conflict began when Christians refused emperor worship. This refusal was not theological alone, it was political. To reject the emperor's divine status was to reject the unity of the empire. Persecution followed, but it was inconsistent and local. Ironically, persecution amplified Christianity's visibility. Martyrdom transformed execution into testimony. public death became propaganda. Rome punished bodies, Christianity shaped memory. Rome is the infrastructure of the gospel. Christianity did not spread despite Rome, it spread through Rome. The Roman Empire created the physical and administrative infrastructure that allowed a small Jewish movement to become a Mediterranean religion. Roman roads connected provinces with unprecedented efficiency. Sea routes were secured by imperial patrols. A shared legal system allowed movement across vast distances. The Pax Romana did not eliminate violence, but it reduced chaos enough for ideas to travel faster than armies. Apostles could move from Jerusalem to Antioch, from Ephesus to Corinth, from Rome to the edges of the known world. Christianity was born under occupation, but it matured inside an imperial network that unintentionally carried it forward. Greek language, Roman power. Although Rome ruled politically, Greek ruled intellectually. Koine Greek was the common language of the Eastern Empire, and it became the language of the New Testament. This was not accidental. Greek allowed Christian ideas to move beyond Jewish audiences and enter the philosophical marketplace of the Hellenistic world. Concepts like logos, soul, truth, and wisdom already existed in Greek thought, and early Christians adapted them to express their message. Rome provided order, Greece provided vocabulary. Christianity emerged at the intersection of Roman authority and Greek abstraction, shaped by both without fully belonging to either. Israel under empire. For Jews living in Roman-controlled Judea, empire was not an abstraction but a daily reality. Taxes, soldiers, censuses, and governors defined life under Rome. This pressure intensified messianic expectations. Many Jews hoped for divine intervention, a restoration of sovereignty, and the end of foreign rule. Jesus emerged in this environment, preaching a kingdom not aligned with political rebellion, yet deeply subversive in its moral authority. His message challenged both Roman power and religious hierarchy. Rome understood order, it did not understand prophecy. This misunderstanding would prove decisive. Crucifixion, Roman execution, theological turning point. Crucifixion was a Roman instrument of terror, designed to humiliate and deter rebellion. It was reserved for slaves, criminals, and enemies of the state. Jesus' execution was not a tragic accident, it was a legal act of imperial control. Yet Christianity transformed this symbol of domination into a symbol of redemption. The cross represents one of history's most radical inversions of meaning. What Rome used to display power, Christianity reframed as sacrifice. The empire executed a man, a religion emerged from the interpretation of that death. Paul in the Roman world. The spread of Christianity accelerated through figures like Paul, a Roman citizen fluent in Jewish law and Greek rhetoric. Paul understood the empire he moved through. He used Roman roads, appealed to Roman courts, and wrote letters that circulated across cities. His theology reframed Jesus not as a local Messiah, but as a universal figure relevant to Greeks and Romans alike. Paul did not reject the empire directly, he navigated it. Christianity's expansion was strategic, literate, and mobile. It was a religion shaped by letters, travel, and urban networks. Early Christian communities. Christianity spread first in cities, not rural areas. Urban centers like Antioch, Corinth, Ephesus, and Rome became hubs of belief. These communities were small, diverse, and often marginal. They included slaves, women, foreigners, and the poor. Christianity offered belonging without citizenship and dignity without status. This social structure made it resilient. It did not require political power to survive. In a rigid imperial hierarchy, Christian communities functioned as alternative families, bound by shared belief rather than blood or law. Persecution and identity. Rome tolerated many religions, but Christianity posed a unique problem. Christians refused to participate in imperial cults that honored the emperor as divine. This refusal was seen as disloyalty, not theology. Persecution was sporadic, local, and often brutal. Yet persecution clarified identity. Martyrdom became testimony. Suffering became proof of faith. Rome demanded public conformity, Christianity demanded internal conviction. This conflict sharpened the religion's boundaries and strengthened its narrative of endurance. Rome as the unintended vessel of Christianity. The Roman Empire did not create Christianity, but it made its spread possible. Roman roads, ports, and administrative unity connected regions that had never before shared ideas so quickly. What Rome built for control became a network for belief. Missionaries could travel from Jerusalem to Antioch, from Ephesus to Corinth, and finally to Rome itself within a single lifetime. The empire's obsession with order allowed a subversive message to move unnoticed at first. Christianity used Rome's infrastructure while rejecting Rome's values. This contradiction defined the early church. Rome offered stability, but Christianity offered meaning. Persecution, martyrdom, and identity. Roman religion was inclusive but conditional. Worship the gods, honor the emperor, and live as you wish. Christianity refused this compromise. Its claim that Jesus alone was Lord directly challenged imperial authority. Persecution followed, not constantly, but unpredictably. Martyrdom became a defining narrative. Death was transformed into testimony. This radically inverted Roman values, where honor was tied to power and survival. For Christians, suffering became proof of truth. The New Testament texts preserve these experiences, turning trauma into theology. Memory again became resistance. From oral movement to written scripture. As eyewitnesses died and communities spread, writing became essential. Letters, gospels, and teachings were copied, circulated, and debated. This process was not centralized or immediate. Different communities emphasized different texts. The New Testament emerged gradually, shaped by disagreement as much as consensus. Rome unintentionally accelerated this process by creating distance and danger. Writing stabilized belief. Text preserved authority. The empire that once crucified Jesus forced his followers to define their faith in permanent form. Greece, philosophy, and the language of theology. Christianity survived because it learned to speak Greek. Concepts such as logos, soul, and truth gave abstract shape to faith. Greek philosophy did not convert Christianity, but it gave it vocabulary. This allowed the New Testament to address universal questions rather than local customs. Theology became portable. Belief could cross cultures without losing coherence. The message remained Jewish in origin, but Greek in expression. This fusion allowed Christianity to outgrow its birthplace. Rome converts, Christianity transforms. When Rome eventually adopted Christianity, the religion it embraced was already shaped by centuries of opposition. Power did not erase memory, it complicated it. Christianity gained protection but lost simplicity. The faith of martyrs became the religion of emperors. Yet the New Testament preserved the tension. Its texts remember persecution even when it ends. Rome fell, but Christianity endured because it had learned to survive without power first. Final reflection: empire, religion, and meaning. The Roman Empire provided the stage on which the New Testament became history rather than memory alone. Israel gave Christianity its soul. Greece gave it language. Rome gave it reach. None intended this outcome. Religion here was not imposed from above, but carried upward through suffering, writing, and belief. The New Testament world shows that ideas outlive empires when they speak to human fear, hope, and longing. Rome ruled bodies. Christianity captured memory.